What's going on? It's Justeeni here, and today we've got some more Guess the ELO. This time we've got quite a long game on a tiny dry. Liran versus Omaji. I'm really excited for this one. So let's just get right into things. Interesting opening. So I can kind of see why they did it, because these Polytar spawns really suck, and they have the mountains in the way. So like the spawn is horrible, but I would get this Polytar here just to get this ruins. It could be on a mountain as well, but I would honestly be fine buying climbing here if I have to, just to get the ruins. But it's gonna help maybe accelerate this otherwise really slow start just a little bit, so I think it is worth doing. But instead going for the ruins with the warrior, which while it can pan out, you want to really make sure you hold this village, so I think it would be better to send both warriors towards it. You never know. But things do work out here. You get this village safely. And I would definitely have made a Polytar, because again, like if they start pressuring you, you want to be immediately ready to respond. And while you can make the Sank a turn sooner, I'd rather get a Polytar than make a Sank right now and still not have the Polytar. Because yeah, we get that Sank there, which is a really good spot. But again, we have no units. They could just siege us. And yeah, we'll be able to re-siege and take it back, but then they're going to take our Sanctuary for a turn. It's going to be really annoyed. And because like if they just have two riders, that's it. It's just happening. So you got to have some units ready, because if you like made a Polytar, maybe even made a warrior on the following turn, or just made the Polytar, honestly, because then you just unsiege with that. And then make more Polytars off the meeting stars. Which you do get lucky. You don't find the Omaji still somehow. They haven't gotten any explorers or anything like that. Oh, wait, I see what's going on here. Because if that was your plan to use this Polytar and then push, the way the push order works is, I guess you don't need to worry about it being blocked. You can just move this out of the way. But even if you don't, the way the push order works is if the tile that is being pushed to is blocked, it starts going counterclockwise to find, and then clockwise to find the next tile. So like it'll go to this tile. If that's not a valid tile, it'll go to this one, then this one, this one, this one, this one. You get the deal. So it actually push here if this warrior stayed here, which is pretty good to know. But they don't siege anyway. Whoa. We're really advancing, aren't we? I would not advance here, because you know that they're over here. I would go the other way. Or if you don't want to accidentally lure them to a village, just go back into your own territory, so then they don't have a good spot to bounce off of. We do find them... Oh, and that hurts just even more, because what we could have done is we could go, and then we hit with the 5 HP, and then steal the village with a 10 HP warrior. And it would be pretty secure, because there would even be a block. They would need They would need 3 riders just to get the warrior off. But now they actually could either take the village or step off of it and then come back later with support, which is most likely what they're going to do, I would imagine. Okay, just kidding. They're not. They're just going to let you siege anyway. I'm not really getting high elo vibes, because there's not a lot of high elo plays. Mining, it feels a little extra. I kind of get it, because you need to level up your cities to train more units, but then you just use that to train a warrior anyway. I would imagine you want to get archery up just to deny them the city, and then eventually start like pushing with defense boosted warriors and archers, and then they can't push a giant into that. You have an eco advantage, and it's surely going to cascade at some point, especially when you've got all these Polytars. You like don't actually have to worry about unit cap, and you've got a surprisingly good amount of room to just smithery. What? Again, I think if we're trying to lean into like really defensive options, archery is like 100% the play. Like riding is interesting, but there's so many terrain blockers that you would need to get roads for riders to even be useful. And with how spread out your cities are, it's way cheaper to just get archery instead. But Smithery, I don't like Smithery. They're not going to be able to get on the city for a few reasons, mostly these terrain blockers preventing this rider from killing, but you do actually have poly pushes to get there. So you are fine for now. Maybe that was the point of the sword. But again, archers can do the same thing, but for a lot cheaper. And now when they get their giant, you're going to need archers anyway, is kind of what I'm in some ways saying. Hopefully we start doing some poly push. Ooh! Oh, we missed the poly push here though. I think this is worth it because these come from different tanks. It's actually not very expensive to do this. And then you kill a rider and you actually gain some good initiative. So I can kind of see, I don't know, I still feel like I would just prefer getting archery, at least archery first, and building a baseline of archers and getting the defense bonus in the terrain. And then, yeah, then go into Smithery. Heck, you could even consider like Philo if you really wanted to. It's actually not very expensive. Probably not worth it because you don't plan on buying many techs, but it could be funny. We're gonna get a lot of units. We probably could use like, I guess Org here to get a dragon. And if we can defend it, then that, like just one dragon is game winning on Tiny Dry. So that's always something to be mindful of. Like that's probably our route to victory, honestly. Which means maybe Smithery wasn't all that bad. Because if they're gonna go for exactly that, that's actually like honestly a solid game plan. Like I don't think Smithery was the right call. Like I think archery was better, but they're making use of it, so I can't actually be too mad. Again, this isn't like super high elo gameplay. I feel like again the obvious play is just go archery, and like archery just works. You've got so many forests. This border growth's actually pretty good. I like it, and you can get another egg off of that. So this looks like a pretty dominating position. I don't know how this game ends up lasting so much longer. Maybe Omaji gets something going, because I feel like once you get the fire dragon, it's pretty much over. Like you'll just use that, your eco is just through the roof, and you're gonna have a second one as if the first one wasn't enough. I mean, I think you just need to defend their giants, which again, get archery. Math feels a little sluggish, but you know what, you do have time actually. Math is fine. Like you have the eco to back it up actually, so like I still think at some point please get archery just for the defense bonus on your terrain. I think just for that alone it is actually worth it. And we just gave them a line. That is a pretty good night chain. Yeah, they've got to use some units like that. I'm surprised Omaji's not gotten roads yet and has not gotten the giant up there. Okay, I don't like this. I know that they have knights. Knights are scary, but we don't need to put our catapults this far back. Like if we want to be really safe with our catapults, we can put it like here and then here, and they're spaced out pretty well where they're going to defend everywhere we need to and avoid the knights. Because right now we've kind of like, again, these catapults need to accomplish two things. They need to not get chained by knights and they need to adequately defend. Right now, they don't give us a whole lot of control, especially over this, which, I mean, my suggested placements wouldn't either. You could get a catapult here just because there's so many terrain blockers. So like this over here. These, not so much. Their knights are actually just going to effectively wall you out, but I feel like it's at least worth moving them up, so it's harder for them to advance up. They seem just a little too passive back there. Like, the baby dragon, it's just going to be kind of sitting there and waiting anyway. Though even then, you could still be more active with that. Okay, now we get archery. We did just give them a chain, though. They just need to place 2 roads like this. I believe this would damage the warrior 1 HP, and then this knight would come in and then chain. And Omaji really wants to get roads anyway, so I would not be surprised if they just do that. Okay, they do it like that, which also works. Doesn't kill the warrior, but I guess you don't sacrifice the rider, so probably better, maybe even. Yeah, this giant being here could have been punished if our catapults were further up, but we're managing to just catch some random riders, though. I don't even know how that's happening. And again, look at that. They're not even like going for this village, even though they like totally could step their giant on it and just keep it. And then they would be up a city. They'd still be losing because like your sanctuaries are insane and you're about to get both your fire dragons. But like, I'm a little, again, these catapults, what are these catapults actually doing? They've done nothing. Like, now they might actually start to do something, but still not much. You've given them a lot of room to work with. Again, you're still winning, like, unsurprisingly. Spiritual, okay. That's just excessive. We can take a few more turns to unit spam even, but hopefully with spiritualism at least, maybe you'll feel a little more comfortable advancing your catapults. Because now they have no way of reaching those catapults. As long as they just have no way of chaining into your army, which they don't have a way of doing. It's just not a thing they can do. This one they actually could, if they had a second knight, get that, but they don't. Their knight was too far away. But I think we just win this. And this is going to be a very long, drawn-out game. Again, very, very passive. Like, I thought this was going to be, like, a super interesting game, because, like, it's a really long game, but, quite the opposite, actually. I feel like I guess you're not in a rush to win, but you can be playing a little more actively. And surely at some point you just go into knights, counterattack, and GG's. Or even just go into cloaks, which, speaking of which, if they go into cloaks, then you're actually in some serious trouble all of a sudden. Like, again, you're still winning, even if they go into cloaks and even connect on like 2 cities at once and chain cloaks. You have fire dragons and catapults, you're still, and you've got like polytars you can make. Okay, wait. Why did we move this dragon up here? We'd like make this whole spiritualism all, and I was talking about like you need to get your units more active, but this is just straight up bad because this is just losing the dragon. So like, these are just doing nothing, and then this one is too vulnerable. You need that Goldilocks zone. Like, okay, this catapult has 2 kills in the many turns that it was there. Now we get Chivalry, which was kind of poorly timed, because again, we keep giving them chains into our cities, and then getting it, because like, you see we've got this here, and then now they just... I guess maybe this is why you're so paranoid about the catapults. I'm gonna assume this is very low elo gameplay because of that, because like you're being overly paranoid about some things, like way too safe with these, playing way too much around knight chains, and then failing to play around some other things, even despite having spiritualism. Which like, in really big stalemates, it can get pretty tough to like remember to play around everything. But like, in a tiny dry, it should be pretty manageable. So, yeah, they're getting archer. I'm surprised Omaji has not gotten cloaks this entire game. Like, cloaks are perfect. Look at how passive Illyrian is. You can make cloaks in like all of your cities and just throw them in, and Illyrian wouldn't actually have enough time to react. But now once Illyrian actually starts doing things, then suddenly the game's over, like, really soon. Even though they are, again, failing to use most of their army, like... Oh my goodness. Again, very much... I'm getting low yellow impressions. Okay, they finally brought 1 fire dragon in. Like... Oh my goodness. Again, imagine if Omaji had actually, like, cloak spam. They could have, like, really complicated things. Which I feel like any half-decent Omaji, like, any half-decent person in Omaji player should be like, oh, Illyrian's doing nothing with their units, and I have no way of breaking through because I got spiritualism. Let me just get cloaks and then archery. I think that's pretty straightforward. We finally win though because they fail to get cloaks and archery, and then we finally decide, we should actually like use our units and win the game. Yeah, I feel like they were like really, again, they were like extremely greedy and passive, which is not the way you should be playing a tiny dry. Like, I don't know if they regularly play this, maybe they're like, but even so, like, a good player should be able to adapt to new map conditions. Even if they haven't played it often, they should be able to recognize the differences. Like, spiritualism's generally not going to be as good, or like late game setups, like it's really only working because you're completely winning anyway. And like, again, this is just really passive. So I'm led to believe like 1100 maybe. Like, there were the occasional snazzy plays, but I don't know if they were actually planned or just happenstance. And early smithery really was off-putting, and the really late archery. Like, they could have gone much earlier archery. Neither side went into diplomacy. Like, Illyrian usually likes to go into strategy because, like, they like defenders. They work well with dragons. This was something. Again, I think 1100 maybe. Oh. That's not 1100. Okay. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like and sub. And have a good one.